ladies, gentlemen, folks, friends, we are now going to make a noting application using what we know so far. So let's go ahead and get started. So, uh, okay, we ideally should start from scratch. We do have this register user function, which is pretty cool. We can keep that perhaps. We do have this user. That is, I guess we're not really starting from scratch, but I don't think we'll need this age. We just need name, email, password. That should be good. We'll add something else for the notes at some point. Everything else seems pretty good, except obviously this part. We don't necessarily want this. The homepage should return a render template called index.html, and we would want to do this. Yep, and let us at this point also take a look at our templates. We don't want whatever is inside of this user folder, so I'm going to move that to trash, and the index is going to be completely redone. So let's just delete that and let's give it a refresh and see how it goes. Perfect. We also would want to delete our instance because previously we did have the age. I removed the age now, and we're also going to do some other changes. We are constantly going to delete the instance every time we make database changes because we're currently not migrating our changes, which is a concept we can get into in future videos. But for now, anytime that you change the structure of your database, you're going to want to reflect those changes in your database file as well. If you know SQL, for example, you can perform the migrations manually. If you don't, that's completely okay. We're going to get to those in the future video. For now, since we're not like storing so much important data in our database anyways, we can delete it, and then it'll automatically make it every time our app is run again. We can see as soon as I run it, it makes the instance and it makes these tables. If you're adding a new table, though, for example, we're about to do notes, user notes or something like that, then you don't need to redo the, as long as you don't make changes to an existing table, the DB creates all, database creates all method will automatically add new tables to it. It's just if you make any changes to the existing ones, then you're going to have to modify the existing structure that's in the database. Hoping that that is clear, let us just make a basic interface for our noting app. So currently, what have we done? We've deleted all the templates. We only have index.html at the moment, and that is this one that we're looking at here. And we have our my first app, and this my first app is Flask. Okay, we have register users, so that is from the previous tutorial anyways. Cool. In this one, let us only design the index HTML. Okay, it's going to be a bit different tutorial this time. I'm just going to make somewhat of a decent noting app using Bootstrap maybe, and run you through how I would go about doing that. So we're going to use Bootstrap 5 so that we have some decent styling on this as well. And in this tutorial, we're going to be mainly focusing on the HTML segment of the noting app. In the next one, we might be focusing on the database segment. So let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, it should say noting app, maybe, or noting web app, something like that. And let us do h1. Welcome to the noting web app, or welcome to, we'll call it easy notes. I hope that there's nothing like that. Welcome to noting app. We'll call it noting app. I don't know if there's easy notes or something, if it's copyrighted something, I don't want to have to deal with something like that. So okay, why am I opening a second window? Because we're going to go to Bootstrap 5. At the moment, version 5 is the latest, version 5.3, I think. 5.3.3, yes. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to the download section here, and we're just going to grab the CDN ones. So this one here, just skip the download with JS CDN to deliver a cache version of Bootstrap's compiled CSS and JS to your project. So we can go ahead and do that. So we just copy this. So basically what Bootstrap is, if you don't know, it's a CSS framework, is it? Is that a right terminology? Bootstrap 5. It's a library. Yeah, it's not a framework. I guess it's more of like a library. It contains pre-existing styles that when you import it, you can use. We're gonna see that in a short amount of time. So we're just gonna go ahead and copy paste that to the head. and I think we're good. Now when we refresh, you can see that styling has changed a little bit. It looks a bit more modern. And it says welcome to our noting app. That's fantastic. What would we want to do at this point? Well, perhaps we want to make it a little prettier. We'll make a div with a container class, with a container fluid class. So this is something, again, that is already coming from Bootstrap. We're just going to toss that right here. And what container fluid does is it basically defines a container for this to be in. And it allows us to basically work within Bootstrap's existing row and column sections, yada yada, make a responsive thing. It's not that important, not the purpose of our video, but just follow along as I'm doing here for now. And if you do want to learn Bootstrap, maybe we'll have some tutorial come on that at some point. I don't think I'm necessarily a specialist in Frontend, but we do welcome to noting app. Okay, let's say that we wanted, for example, this to be centered, so we could just do text center, which is the equivalent of doing text align center in CSS. And we want to add a margin top of 2, maybe 3 even. And that says welcome to noting app. It looks pretty good at the moment. It looks decent. And we'll have some buttons. So we'll do a href, and this will go to the login. And we'll also have a button to register. When we save these, we can see that those are coming in. If you want to make them a tad bit prettier, we could also just use the classes that are provided again from Bootstrap, btn primary for button primary, and btn primary again. Sure. There we go. We have a login and a register button. Currently, they don't do anything, but we could make them do something pretty soon. We're gonna now design a new page. We're gonna call it login.html, and we also want another one called register.html. I hope I'm doing this correctly. Are these coming to the right place? Okay, they're coming to the right place. Nice. Okay, so we have a login and we have an index, a register. I'm gonna copy paste what we have in index here for the login. First for the register, I guess, because that's what people will be doing first. So we'll go to the register first up, and we're just going to. And by the way, keep in mind these are all inside of templates because they are all HTML templates. When we go to login, nothing should happen at the moment because we haven't defined it yet. But if we go here, and if we go app.routes / and then methods get and post. By the way, no longer does our homepage have any forms, so we can remove the get post from that. And this is going to be login, and we'll make login page, and we will just return render template for the login template. And we'll do the same thing here for register. I think now when we go to login, it should take us to a page, and when we go to register, similarly, it should take us to a page. Register takes us to the same page because we copy pasted and saved what we had. So now we can rename this title to register. We can register to noting app, or we could just say register below. Okay, so when we go to register, it says register below, and now what we want to do is we want to define a form. Okay, we want to define a post form. And I like to have these methods in capital. I don't know if that's conventional, but that's just the way I do things. And we're going to have an input of text. And this text is going to be user. I think I'm pretty sure we've done this until we've deleted it in the index, but we're just going to redo it anyways. We'll have a username. And ideally, maybe just add a class as well. To make it look pretty. We'll do it without the class first, and then we'll do it with the class. Let's just see how it goes. Okay, that's how it looks without the class. And when we do add the class, for example, we can add form control. There we go. And we could do margin button 2. Just like that. And ideally we would want a label for this. I'm just going to put it like this, just so that it's a bit easy. Username. And by the way, maybe we want this to be, how should I structure this one? Let's make this one text center and this one like this. Okay. And we don't even need below really. So we have one for username. Cool. We would want one for password. What did we have? We had name, email, password. So it's not even username, it's just name actually. Name, email, and actually we could add a placeholder to these to make it look nicer as well. And finally we have password, which is going to be a type of password. Okay, let's refresh and see how that looks. Perfect, it actually looks really, really neat. Okay, it looks like a typical Bootstrap form. Now we need a input submit type. It can just say register, and we're gonna copy paste the classes here. And we can still copy paste this one as well. Cool, and we can maybe toss these ones inside of here. There we go. And we can even, yeah, we can just go, we will have a register button that could be in green like this, and then there should also be like a button to log in or a button to homepage, and these can be secondary. So there we go. It doesn't look amazing, phenomenal, but it does the job. We can register. Now we can also go back to different pages using these buttons. So it's just sort of for the sake of having some functionality. The register page is at least done-ish at the moment. It's done-ish. Okay. So submit register. Perfect. Now when we hit register, nothing happens because we are getting the post request, but nothing is happening. That's fine. We're gonna copy this and we're gonna paste the exact same thing. We're just gonna make a login page out of it. This is gonna be login, and this is gonna be login, and this will be we'll log in using email and password. That's how we can do things. Email, password, and this button can just say login instead, and this one can instead go to register. And let's see how that goes. So we go to homepage, we go to login, it says login, or we can go to register. Perfect, or we can go back to the homepage. Okay. Great stuff. I think we can end this video here. I don't know if we have anything else to do in terms of the front end. For now, we can end this here as the registration, login, and the homepage for our noting app. And it's a bit cliche. Everybody does noting apps, but what can I do? It was the first thing that came to mind after like 2 minutes of thinking, what should I do? So there we go. We're done for this video. In the future videos, we're going to get to how to handle the login register from the backend, and then finally get to notes as well. So stay tuned for that, and looking forward to it. Peace.